Sorry, what the f*** is Allsvenskan? Hello everybody and welcome to What the Fuck is Allsvenskan? My name's Andy Woodfine, and joining us on today's show is a man who this weekend totally surprised me with his newfound ability to drink rum and coke. It's Neil Cook, everybody.
Bienvenido. Okay with that.
Oh wow.
Bit of Spanish.
Was that you didn't speak any Spanish when we were in Spain, and now you decided to bust it out?
I said the odd hola to the Spanish neighbours.
Okay,
and and
Nice
gracias every now and again.
But like on a serious and not so serious note, I'm impressed with your stamina for drinking rum and coke has improved, Neil, drastically. Must be that new South African neighbour you've got.
My stamina for drinking any mixer and spirit has always been okay. I'm a bit slow on the beer.
Bit slow. And also joining us on today's show, who's a man who looks like Jermaine Defoe sitting down and Peter Crouch standing up to disproportionately long legs. It's Michael Woodfine, everyone.
Hello. Hey, Summertiden, hey. Yeah, no, you're true with that. It's quite funny, to be honest.
It's brilliant.
I'm big man, little man, all in one.
You'd be Harry Redknapp's dream.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, I played up front on the weekend and scored 2 goals, and both of them were tackles. So it's.
I don't know how that works.
Neil's trying to figure out how that's possible.
Yep, I tackled someone at a corner, ended up in the net, and then I tried to pressure someone and charge them down, and they cleared the ball into me, ended in the net. So,
did you win?
I think we lost 11-7.
Might want to try some of that tackling in your defence instead.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. Neil and I have been in sunny Spain, even though only he looks tanned and I still look pale. But I guess that's just how it goes. And Mike's been, manning the fort at home, keeping an eye on everything else Svenskan related. So it's a one-man show today, right, Mike? It's just you.
Yeah, but you're gonna read my lines, surely.
This is true. This is true. Well, let's kick things off with highlights of the week. And Neil, what have you scraped forward for a highlight of the week? Considering, your memory is probably not as good as it was before the week started.
You're saying it in the singular, like I've only got one highlight of the week.
Sorry, Neil. Plural.
Thought we'd learn our lesson by now. So, non-football highlight of the week was seeing the amount of pain Andy can be in from a hangover on Saturday morning.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Oh man, it was some mess of a human being on Saturday morning.
Days. That was awful. That was one of the worst mornings of my lifetime, I believe. But yeah,
there you go.
Can't complain.
And then he had some orange Fanta or lemon Fanta, and for some reason the world was okay again. I don't know what's in that stuff.
You heard it here first. There should be medical clinical trials on how good lemon Fanta is for hangovers. I swear to God, you can keep your Resorb, you can keep your Alvedon and Iprian. Lemon Fanta for the win, baby.
It was weird, but. Apart from my lovely weekend in Spain and watching Andy be an absolute baby about a hangover, and my footballing Allsvenskan highlight of the week was watching Ludwig Fritzson score with his nuts for BP.
My God. Honestly, I watched the highlights of that game as well, and I think I've written down a note that says exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
I wonder if there are recorded goals from ball sacks. There's definitely left foot, right foot header.
If anyone's got the notes,
trick, what would that be?
Which one counts as the header? But
you differentiate between?
Oh, Jesus. Good. Setting the tone right from the beginning, Neil. I like it.
Anyway,
like it.
yeah, so that was good fun.
Sensational. Mike, what was your highlight of the week from someone who actually watched the games?
Okay, well, this isn't an Allsvenskan highlight. Well, I mean, it kind of is. At the end, it is. You'll get it. I mean, it's not really a highlight. It is some kind of light, maybe the murky light of corruption, but it feels a million years ago now. It was only last weekend. I was watching the Champions League final, which should be the pinnacle of the club game. But the whole occasion was empty, soulless, and corporate. The game that we all love. We love playing it. We love watching it. It has been a constant throughout my life. But this Champions League final and the whole City treble, it just made me feel sick. I was watching it on BT Sport, and there was no mention about City's 115 charges, even though they can mention it because it is public knowledge.
Yeah.
They're free to speak about it. There's no lawyers involved. They just refuse to. The whole commentary was full of like pre-prepared sort of Peter Jury-esque monologues to try and go viral. The game itself was boring. There was no jeopardy. Yeah. One team was so clearly better than the other, and that team was so clearly better than all the other teams in the Premiership.
Yeah.
And they've got there by cheating and financial corruption, and everybody knows this, but you can't do anything about it. It's like it's the football equivalent of the fall of the Soviet Union. Like the fake reality that has emerged now, everyone just has to accept it. There were City fans there who were spending over 10,000 krona a ticket, and they celebrated the treble win at the end of the match, just like Malmo would celebrate their 6th goal in a 6-0 win against Varberg's boys. However, all of this just made me love Allsvenskan more. This Champions League final, it made me really happy that I've invested all this time into watching Allsvenskan and knowing about Allsvenskan. The real passion, the real football, the goalkeeping catastrophes, the entertainment, all of that. That's football. This Man City team is not football. It's something else. Entirely.
Wow. So we went from talking about some guy scoring with his ballsack to a proper rant about the fall of the Soviet Union and the corruption.
This is what you get on What the Fuck is Allsvenskan.
It's a strange mix of people we've put together, I've come to realise.
That's the beauty of it. I love it. But you know what? Part of me agrees with you. And also the other day, I think I shared it in our little chat group about Manchester United, obviously might be also bought by Saudi Arabia. And then Qatar might sell Mbappe to Saudi Arabia via Man City. And it's just going to be an absolute disaster soon. It's just going to be so much money. I mean, there already is sickening amounts of money in the Premier League. But no, I agree with you, Mike. Give us those Oscar Linear-esque goalkeeping errors any day of the week. I'm not far off you there, that's for sure. Well, speaking of Allsvenskan highlights, my highlight of the week is also something that can only happen in Allsvenskan. And like I say, in just what I'm going to talk about, could you imagine if like Kevin De Bruyne did this? But Rigard, BK Bush superstar, his wedding was the day before the game, right? So he was drinking at his wedding until 3 a.m. in fucking Denmark. The next morning, he gets on a plane, flies up, and is part of a team that just absolutely crushes Mjällby 3-0. And to quote him, he said this was a demonstration of power.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what?
Wow.
What a legend. If I didn't like him before, I absolutely love him now. And again, that's something that sounds like a Sunday League story. Like, I had my wedding yesterday. I'll only play 60 minutes, and then you get on, puke on the pitch, score a couple of goals, and your team wins. But this is in the top league, so fair play to Rigard and fair play to BK Bush.
Do you know, Michael Jordan's got a few stories about him being a bit half cut, and then going on to play games in the evening and dropping 50 points. So maybe it's the way forward.
Maybe it is. I
mean,
Mike,
parlor as well.
Your two goals on the weekend from tackles, were they in any way alcohol-induced from the night before?
A little bit.
There you go. See,
yeah,
I think we're on to something here, guys.
Gives you an extra yard of pace, I think.
And this is why I have more and more respect for Jack Grealish and the fact that he's like a normal human being in that Man City team.
He can put some away, can't he? He's been partying for a long time, that lad.
My God, honestly,
full kit until 7 a.m. the next day. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Well, you wouldn't you? Like, surely, 100%.
The Man City fans didn't. They went to bed at 10:30.
Oh dear. Well, that's what a start to the show. That was our highlights of the week. Extremely football related as always. So before we jump into the game of the week, I'm interested into what you guys have concocted for our comparison challenge. Let's compare somebody from Allsvenskan to a player, team, or moment in Premier League history. Who wants to kick us off?
I can if you want.
Oh, brave man stepping up to the plate. Let's go, Mike. What have you got?
Well, Taha Ali's goal this weekend, where he runs down the line, beats a few players, cuts into the box, beats more players, scores, which is absolutely sensational.
Unreal.
Is so similar to the Alexander Isak assist for Newcastle this season in the goal of the season, where he does almost exactly identical run. However, in this one, Taha Ali scores, so it's much better.
Right, he just one-ups Isak.
See, I had compared that to the famous Gareth Bale goal against Barcelona.
Oh, when he runs out of play.
He runs it, that doesn't really happen. Where it is a case of he just pumps the ball past his defender, goes past him, and then cuts it and scores from a tight angle. There's quite a bit of that about it. That's what it reminded me of. That wasn't my.
Okay, good. Because you would not have won. Nice, Mike. I love it, and it was very Isak-esque the way he. But my favorite part, just before we go on to yours, Neil, I will give you your spotlight soon. I know you love it so much, but my favorite part of that run was where he does the move that all sort of old Serbian basketball players over the age of 40 do when they're playing pickup, where you kind of like act like you're slowing down and then zoom past you. The amount of times that move has got me on a basketball court is absolutely outstanding. So yeah, that's definitely the vibes I got from that as well. All right, Neil, what was your comparison of the week?
I've gone with the I compare Are You Serious? IFK Serious with like, if you were going to summarise Brighton's last 3 years, Sirius have sort of done it this season. So they've played amazing football throughout the season, and they've just started scoring the goals, and now they're working their way up the table, which is basically what's happened with Brighton over a few years.
Oh, that is a good comparison.
Damn it.
Mike's disgusted with how good that was.
I could see Mike nodding his head throughout that and then sort of half realising, shit.
He's realised that he's lost again. But Mike, this must be the first time you lose when you actually feel that was pretty deserved.
Actually,
that is some top draw football comparisons there, Neil.
That's exactly what it is.
It's exactly what it is.
Anyone would think I knew what I was talking about.
Right.
Strange.
No, it's spot on. So basically what you're calling for is Sirius to be in the Champions League within 3 years then.
I just think they're brilliant. I think they're a really fun team to watch.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. I agree. There's a really clear idea with how they play football, and Brighton have been doing the same for years. And yeah, like you say, the goals are starting to flow, and they looked good. Now that would be a brilliant segue into our game of the week, because obviously the game of the week was John McEnroe FC against Gothenburg, but I would be failing us all and unfortunately shaming us all without bringing up our bets of the week from last week's episode.
I've got a serious grudge about this, but we'll get to that in a minute.
I know it's incredibly funny, actually, on Neil.
So before we get to Neil's massive grudge, let's just do a quick roundup. Mike, how did your bet go? Neil B to hold BK Bush to a draw.
Yeah, shocking. They got destroyed quite easily. with a hungover central midfielder.
Yeah. And then my bet was Rajovic to overtake Kiesa Thelin in the scoring charts, and he got the lowest rating out of anyone in that game.
Nice.
He got a 5.9 and did absolutely jack shit. And to make it worse, he got overtaken by somebody else below him in the scoring charts. So not only did he not overtake Kiesa Thelin, he dropped down a spot. So yeah, that didn't go too well. Neil, what was your bet?
What was my bet, Andy? What was my bet? Give me a quick reminder on what my bet was.
Hold on, I don't know.
I think it was Gothenburg.
Sebastian Eriksson to score, Gothenburg to win.
Was it?
Yeah, the angry central midfielder to score.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because I thought it would be new manager bounce.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I don't care about that. Let's move on to the truth here. I had a 100% bet of the week on, and it was on Draker to score to say goodbye to the fans against Icor. And then Mike and Andy went, he went off injured, so I don't think he's going to play next week. So we had to do a quick late change. I just made some rubbish up. And then, magically, Ondrejka plays this week, and guess what the little fuckwit did? He went and scored, didn't he? So next time, don't listen to Andy and Mike.
This is scary because Neil is fast emerging as the voice of reason on this podcast. And that's terrifying. But I mean, Neil, there's no proof that you said that about Ondrejka because Mike edited it out of the podcast. So,
I've still got the raw files, and I'll delete them and bury them as soon as I can.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a flop on our first week of bets, except for Neil, obviously the footballing guru that he is, calling on Drake to score on his last game of the season. And I'm sure we'll talk about that a bit later on, but let's jump into the game of the week, which is John McEnroe FC, aka Are You Serious, against Gothenburg, who Mike has aptly nicknamed Göteborg.
Which is brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
So
I like
good.
it. Yeah.
With their 3 shots in this game and their total lack of any sort of personality shown.
Just on that,
kick us off?
I was just wondering on that shots per game thing, because I also saw that it had 3 shots and none on target, which is very low.
Yeah.
I just wondered how the table for shots per game looked, Mike.
Well, I have all the stats right here, so let's go for it. They are Göteborg are 15th.
It runs so smoothly off the tongue.
Does, right? They are 15th in shots per game, so they're just below bottom. They average actually 8.15 shots a game, and I think this is kind of skewed from that game where they won like 6-0 or
Okay.
where they had like 20 shots. So it's it's skewed the statistics.
Who's bottom?
It's Halmstad, actually.
Halmstad?
Yeah.
Damn.
7.43 shots per game.
Wow, they're currently 7th in the league as well. So
that's some efficient play right there. And then what, Malmo top or BK Häcken?
Malmo top and then BK Häcken. There's only 0.01 separating them. 14.56 for Malmo and 14.55 for Häcken.
Oh, okay. Yeah, same.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, I mean, this match... Göteborg, sorry, it's so good. I can't say it without laughing. Göteborg started with I can't do it. Started with a 4-4-2 in pure Janne Andersen style.
Yeah.
Their new Danish manager came in and went, right, how can we make this even less inspiring? Let's go 4-4-2. Exactly. And it actually looked okay in the first half.
I was interested to see how he would shake it up. Because obviously they've been terrible this season. So Sebastian Eriksson was dropped. Carlin wasn't in the squad, which is strange. He doesn't have an injury listed, so I don't know what that was about. Karlstrand started up top in a really like narrow 4-4-2. Yeah. Norlin was playing on the right instead of the left. Markovic came in on the left. It was and then wasn't inspiring.
Hagen was playing as like a pivot midfielder instead of an attacking midfielder. And again, it's so weird to see a team. He's clearly their best player. Why aren't they just building the team around him?
I don't know. they've got a few weeks now to work on this, but it was shocking. Yeah.
But it kicked off with Tashreeq Matthews scoring again, and the South African superstar. Not that we're biased with having South African blood in the family, but he scored again. Terrible marking. He just kind of snuck in.
Did you see his interview?
He's 5'8", and he's banging in the headers. That shouldn't happen.
It's like Sadiq. I think he's got 2 or 3 headers this season. He's 5'6".
Yeah, okay. Madness.
Did you see Tashreeq's interview before the game?
No.
He was talking about how he was disappointed he didn't get called up for the South African national team in this break.
He hasn't been.
No, he hasn't been. But he seems like a really nice guy, and maybe this was the motivation he needed, because he said he wants to play better, he wants to impress.
Nice.
And they asked him what the plan was for this game, and he was like, as always, play good attacking football, score some goals. Yeah. And he was basically doing Neil's 10 words or less in his pre-match interview.
Okay.
No, he seems like a good guy. And I think we said earlier in the season, put 10 pounds of muscle on that guy, and it's a different player. Hopefully he's working on that, because he's got all the skill, and he just needs to be a little bit stronger on the ball, and he could be something special. But he's quite fun to watch as well. I also think he should have had a penalty. Bangsbo decided to just lump his kneecap as he was in the box, and the commentators were saying oh no, he doesn't make contact with him, and then they showed another replay and they went oh wait, actually he does. And he just kicked his knee out completely. Definite penalty, surely.
100%. Yeah. But there wasn't really much protest, so it kind of went.
That's what surprised me.
Just another example why VAR should. It's difficult. Could be useful. I still hate VAR.
I know.
I can't.
This is so hard. Why is this so difficult? I'm the same, Neil. I can't stand VAR when it happens, but then every single game I'm going, VAR would have changed that, and it's tough though, because I think as a television football watcher, VAR kind of works. As an at-the-match football watcher, I can't stand VAR, because those kind of incidences that you forget about them so quickly. There are no replays. It's just a game. So when you're at the game, VAR is disgraceful. But when you're at home, you see the mistakes so clearly. You kind of want them to be rectified. So I don't know.
I think what's happening at home is you're often getting replays of the incident, or you're getting the lines drawn up or whatever. But if you're at the game, it just says VAR check penalty or VAR check red card, and that's all you get, because they don't want to show the replays, because then it makes the crowd angrier in some ways or sometimes.
It's like a Hecken earlier this season where they accidentally played the replay.
Exactly. That was mad. But I thought it should have been 2-0 then. Luckily, I mean, they were justified in getting their second goal later on. Matthews with a lovely through ball, and Joachim Persson had just come on. He looks super dangerous, though, Mike. You like the look of him as well, right?
Yeah. I've been wanting to see him play this whole season, and he's been injured for half of it. But I mean, he's such a good player. And him and Tashreeq up front, they are so technical, so creative. And that was a really nice combination. Great through ball, and what a nice finish as well. Just
very calm.
Perfect little finish. Yeah.
Very calm. Yeah, no, 100%. And then possibly the biggest incident of the game happened. You summarised this beautifully earlier, Mike. What did you say what happened?
Trondsen tried to crack open into a Ferero Roche with his studs.
It was brutal.
It was awful.
It was so bad.
They're such a dirty team as well, Gothenburg. As well as being boring, they're also incredibly dirty.
There's some diving in a few games earlier on, and some horrible tackles. They just lost.
Are they the Stoke of Allsvenskan?
Oh, but Stoke were never good.
Yeah, actually,
well, they were back in the day.
Back in the 1800s, they were quite the force.
You got isn't Stanley Matthews the old Stoke? This is true.
Yes,
legend.
I suppose if we go way back, I mean, I suppose Gothenburg, you have to go way back as well. They haven't been good for a while, but that could be. That's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout. Oh dear. But I mean, the interview at the end of the game from the Gothenburg coach was pretty brutal. I still don't know his name, by the way. He's a Danish coach.
Askew. Jens
Askew.
Bertil.
Yeah.
Askew. Yeah, something like that. Do you know his career, by the way? Do you know his trajectory?
No.
I mentioned a little bit last week.
Yeah, he got relegated last year, didn't he, in like the second division or something?
Yeah, in the top division. So
okay.
in 2018-19, he got relegated in the second division with Vendelseffel FF. I don't know how to pronounce that. In 2020, he went to the Faroe Islands.
Okay.
And won the league and the cup in the Faroe Islands, which I don't know. I think I might have accidentally won a league in the Faroe Islands at some point.
There's only 2 teams.
Yeah.
And one of them is just a bunch of cows.
That reminds me of my floorball story. When a friend of mine moved to England, he was Swedish, and we were ranked the number 2 floorball team in England. There are only 4 teams.
Yeah.
Sounds great until that last bit, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And then he went to AC Horsens. They got relegated in his first season, promoted in his second season, and then relegated again in his third season.
No.
So he's got a 30% win rate with his first club, 73% win rate in the Faroe Islands, and then a 39% win rate with his other Danish club, which included a promotion where they won the league. So
you're saying that he's gonna be a success?
Well, that's what the Gothenburg hierarchy seems to think.
But it's crazy.
All I heard was relegation. So,
but it's crazy.
Who would have predicted that?
Yeah, the interview was interesting because he in true sort of Danish style, he absolutely just tore his team to pieces in a very honest interview with quotes such as, "We lacked ability, we lacked energy, we didn't have the talent," and like all the stuff that you don't want to hear your manager saying. So, and this made me think about, because throughout managerial careers, you've had people like Mourinho, who never talks really badly about his team. He takes or tries to point the blame. Early in his career, he used to do that very well with Chelsea. Point the blame somewhere else and deflect. Arteta does the same. He always deflects criticism. Pep does the same. And then you have other managers which are just like, yeah, we're shit. Well, we can't really do anything. And I'm wondering, so my question to you two is, what would you prefer your manager to do? Right? Imagine yourselves in your wildest dreams. You're a professional footballer.
Oh, wow.
Well, congratulations, Mike.
Oh, this is great.
You made it.
Oh.
Your team's not doing great. Your manager comes out to do an interview. You've made a couple of mistakes. What do you want him to do? Do you want him to go blame the ref or talk about the positives? Or do you want him to just be honest and be like, yeah, we suck?
Probably the honesty route. However, if that is kept indoors, that is fine. If it's in the press.
But that's what I mean. We're talking about just purely press now.
Just the press.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like some guy who got a seahorse relegated from the Danish division to tell me I'm shit. Oh, you won the league in the Faroe Islands? Whoa, great. Yeah. I would. Yeah. I wouldn't be having it.
Neil, what about you?
I always think it's a stupid idea to speak bad about anything in the press. I think you can be honest in we need to do better and we need to do this better, but you shouldn't be talking about what you're doing badly. That doesn't get you very far with a group of players, I don't believe.
It's interesting.
It gets a lot of managers sacked, is what it does.
Right.
Yeah, and it creates pressure on the players. Like, it creates more pressure than it would be if they just if it was behind closed doors.
It's similar to the Brännström example at AOK, where he sort of quite clearly is calling out players, and it's not going well. So football is a very mental sport.
AOK are currently 15th, and Göteborg are 14th. So I don't think it's working for them.
And Allardyce did the same when he came into Leeds, and got them relegated. So.
Yeah. Brilliant. So whoever's running the thing in Gothenburg, good luck with your decision. This will be an interesting follow, and we will never hear the end of it if you do get relegated, mainly from Mike, who out of a potluck of teams called their relegation. Neil, no matter how many times you beat Mike in any of the quizzes that we do throughout the year, if he calls them getting relegated, I mean, you're never going to hear the end of it.
It's a bloody big shout, but I might save us.
Oh. Yeah. I spoke to an AIK fan earlier, Alex, friend of ours, and he genuinely was like, "Yeah, I'm ready for Super Ethan." I was like, "Oh, dude, no, don't do it."
It's early though. It's early. Did you see the story about ICOR asking for a loan from their supporters?
Wild.
Yeah, they're asking for their supporters for a loan, probably for the transfer window, I would suggest.
Was
it 80 million kroner they've asked for?
Yeah.
Wait. Sorry, hold on. What? I've been hungover for 5 days. So I've missed this. What happened?
They asked. I think they just put an appeal out to borrow money from their fans.
Oof.
I don't think it's the first time they've leaned on their fans in financial crisis either. I seem to remember that they asked season ticket holders to pay their season ticket through Corona times as well.
Oh my God. Okay. Tell me things aren't going well by not telling me things aren't going well. That is not healthy. But yeah, I'm sure we'll talk a lot about AIK on this podcast, unfortunately for them. But just to wrap up the John McEnroe against Göteborg. Sorry, it gets me every time. The interview at the end with Mattiasen, the captain, and he basically confirmed that he's leaving. Now, he didn't say it. Of course, he said, "Oh, yeah, det känns bra här på Sirius. It feels good here at Sirius." But he basically pretty much said, "Laters, motherfuckers." That would be a huge loss for them if he did. He's been a beast for them in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar with the Brighton thing that Neil mentioned earlier. They have a few players in that team that really do stand out and that they have developed and made better. And if these players start getting pinched, hopefully they can replace them with good players. But Mattiasen's absolute rock at the back.
Where's he linked to? Does anyone know?
No. Is the quick answer to that.
Okay.
But
that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, I'm sure some of our listeners to this podcast who know way more about Allsvenskan than we do can fill us in, because it'd be interesting to see. I haven't seen much, but yeah, he apparently there's a lot of rumors because the interviewers just asked him about it flat out, and he kind of blushed and smiled, and he knows that there's interest. But yeah, to wrap up that game, are you serious? John McEnroe FC, despite Ferero Roche having his leg nearly broken, managed to get a 2-0 win. And Göteborg, with their 3 shots on target, stay, I was going to say glued to the bottom of the table, because I've just kind of already relegated Varberg's boys in my head.
They're only 2 points behind them.
I know. It's terrifying, because
they haven't won all season, but they're...
That's so bad. It's not looking good for Göteborg. Speaking of teams that aren't doing very well, the mighty Hammarby met the Bromma Brigadiers in a Stockholm derby so intense I couldn't even bear to watch it. Actually, that's a lie. I was 25 rums deep in the south of Spain, so I wasn't at the game. But why were there only 19,000 people there? I mean, of course, some of the reason for that is that BP have no fans and probably travelled with about 20 or 30 of them. But Hammarby, that's not good. And it doesn't look good when the amount of stick AIK are getting for having a lack of fans when things aren't going well. And yet they had more fans this weekend than Hammarby did at the game.
But do you know what?
Yeah.
I think this is every team. I think it's a Swedish thing. I reckon it doesn't matter what club on that list it is. If they start doing a bit shit, people stop going because they can't be bothered.
Really? Neil calling out all Swedish football supporters.
It's Swedish pragmatism, isn't it? But they just it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to enjoy this. So I don't think it's worth my time and effort or financial input. So I think we'll leave this alone.
It's far too much of a logical decision. You could actually be right, Neil.
And less emotional, more rational. Like I'll just cut this out. I won't.
it's no good. It's no good, so I won't go.
Yeah.
Whereas in England, it'll be, Stoke fans going, but we might beat City. And it's not going to happen. But I mean, I don't know. Hammarby are also known for the phrase, which I think translates to like, fuck the league table, buying our best anyway. But, and there's a lot of interesting stuff about Hammarby supporter culture and how they're there through thick and thin.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. They had more fans
derby.
in Super Ettan.
Sorry, say that again, Mike.
They had a higher attendance, average attendance in Super Ettan when they were relegated a few seasons ago. Than they have right now.
That supports my
3,000 people going to see them.
Wow. That supports my theory, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like this was prime time. This is Friday night. Everyone's on the beers. Usually, most people are off Saturdays. There's no real excuse. The sun was shining. It was beautiful. Interesting. So Hammarby fans need to fix up, look sharp for the second half of the season, because 19,000. I know we can do better than that. But interesting game. The Bromma Brigadiers came in trying to assert their dominance and regain their rightful spot at the top of the Stockholm League table.
Just on the nickname quickly, on the Bromma Brigadiers nickname. I've got some stats that kind of back that up, right?
Sorry, you got stats that back up a nickname that we just made up.
Yes,
sensational.
They are the most fouled team in the league. So they're just like the Brigadiers that they sent over the top first at the Somme. Yeah, they're essentially cannon fodder. They are the most fouled team by some way.
There you go. See, we think things thoroughly through on the show. What the fuck is Allsvenskan? We don't just make things up after a few beers and let them stick for the rest of the season. Anyway, early on, our mate Simon, aka Techie, he should have put Hammarby 1-0 up, but he sliced his shot from close range. And then it was a bit of a weird game from our new favorite goalkeeper Sidklev, because he was either sensational or horrific. Like there was no in between for him in this game. He made some brilliant saves and some absolutely god awful errors. He could have scored an own goal, an error leading to a goal, and another error leading to a goal. It was so close. Like he could have been an absolute Oscar Linear.
The own goal one you're talking about, is that where the ball does it hit the post and then smash him in the face and then go wide? It would have been amazing. It would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing. It would have made our Instagram would have just turned into a Swedish goalkeeper Instagram reel.
It has. It kind of is right last week. But it was his fault. It was his fault for the first goal, though, wasn't it?
Oh my word! Yes, it was. Now I've watched this like 7 or 8 times trying to understand what's gone wrong, and it doesn't look like there's that much spin on the ball to happen, or to make it look like there was that much spin on the ball. Basically, for those of you that haven't seen it, Bezra produces kind of a speculative shot from range. Sidklev, who's been brilliant this season, to be fair, he makes a mess of the shot. He lets it bounce in front of him, but he has his hands in totally the wrong place. Instead of having them up high, he's got them on a sort of scooping motion. He's totally misjudged it. And then when it goes slightly more right than he feels it should be going, he can't catch it. He just kind of does that classic kind of scoop and miss. And it's so Sunday League. I can't even believe it.
It's pretty bad.
It's really bad. And then like 2 minutes later, he's putting a worldie out to stop Techie from scoring again. Like it was... It was a very ping-pong up and down game for him.
I think he made enough great saves during that game to almost count out that error, though. He did have a very good match.
I totally agree, and that's such a weird thing to say, but it's almost Aaron Ramsdale-esque, where he makes some ridiculous sensational saves and then makes an error, and everyone goes, "Oh my god!" But they don't look back at the fact that we should have been 6-0 down instead of 1. So I think
the similarities
between him and shit for it.
Similarities between him and Dovin on for Hammarby as well. Both of them capable of, Sidklev now, who's shown he's capable of these errors.
Right.
But Dovin, we've seen throughout the season, he can pull off outstanding saves, and in the same match, It's ridiculous.
And both young goalkeepers. I mean, Siglev is 18. I do think that he has a really bright future.
For sure.
But a player that sort of performed to the level that I think most people expected him to perform at the start of the season was Bezra in this game. I think he had a sensational game. He was the highest rated player on the week at 9.4 on FootMob, a goal, an assist. He hit the woodwork and created 8 chances. And he was kind of pulling the strings quite comfortably for Hammarby. I think Hammarby should have been further ahead in the first half. And then the second half started much the same. Big saves from Siglev again. And then Bromma pulled one back against the run of play with the first official nutsack tap in, as Neil called earlier. Neil's, it is interesting how your highlight of the week is related to a nutsack, Neil. I think that's that's dangerous territory right there.
I decline to comment.
But yeah, Fritzen's nutsack put them back in the game, and the Brigadiers had risen from the dead. Sorry, it's just too many puns. But then the real drama came in the 94th minute, and I think everybody's seen what has happened. Irabi gave Hammarby the win after completely swing and a miss on the original chance. Luckily managed to get the ball under control and toe poked it into the far corner and set off some absolute mental scenes. There were limbs all over the Hammarby stands. People were like, it was like a title.
It's like
winning.
They won the Champions League.
It's almost like they.
Imagine how good that would have been if some fans had turned up.
Right, exactly. And it was crazy. But the cool thing about this is that Irabi, who I think every time I've heard him speak, is a very interesting character, very grounded and straight and honest character. The first thing he did is sprint to his family and jump in the stands and celebrate with his dad and stuff. And I thought that was quite nice. It was quite emotional. Last kick of the game, big win, going into the mid-season break. This could be. It's almost like you could look at this two ways. One, it's a shame there's no next game for Hammarby because that is an emotional high that they're going to be riding. Or it's a good thing that there's a break because they can revel in that moment and take it into the second half of the season. So I'm not sure. Which way do you think it'll go for them in the second half of the season, Neil?
This match confused me because BP have looked really good and Hammarby have looked terrible, but I thought Hammarby were really, really good.
They were
in this. They had 28 shots, which is really high.
Yeah,
in a match, and 52% possession. So it's not like they've dominated the ball, but they've created a hell of a lot of chances.
Yes, 8 of them coming from Bezra, so he was pulling the strings again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I sort of hope that they stay a bit unpredictable. It's fun.
just to see my emotions.
Yeah, exactly. To see how Andy feels as a Tottenham fan.
Oh, no. Mike, what about you?
Well, I think that Bezra really showed something in this match. And if this is him fit, because there's been question marks over his fitness all season, and if this is the real Bezra, if this is what he can produce when he's on 100%, I mean, he can drive Hammarby on his own.
Right.
So if he continues to stay fit through this break, maybe that's a really good thing for Hammarby.
Do you know what? I'd quite like Hammarby to go on a bit of a run, actually, because the league, there's a risk that the league gets a bit boring with all of the good players leaving in the summer transfer window.
Right.
And then Malmö and Häcken and Elfsborg running away with the title.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind another team turning up.
Well, I agree with you. I think Hammarby could do with a good little run now, and also their supporters are also fantastic. And this game aside, hopefully, after the summer break, everyone gets their wallets out and starts coming to games again. Because as I said, I think last week or the week before, fans have a massive influence in their team's future success by turning up to games. So let's get those numbers up, Hammarby. Let's get those numbers up. But luckily, a 2-1 win to go into the summer break, very needed. And BP still going to be fine. They're probably safe already from relegation with the form that AIK, Gothenburg and Varberg's boys are showing. But they're going to be fine. They've got some great players and Hammarby needed that win. upset of the week was surely Venom and Malmo, right?
It was upsetting.
What was upsetting about this game, Neil?
That Värnamo, a town with the population of Leek, took the lead within 2 minutes.
Wait,
of
Leek in
game.
Wales?
Yeah.
Sorry,
people.
What
That's
is
mad.
the population of Värnamo?
So 19,000 people
In the town?
Oh my god.
in the town.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's little.
Small.
Yeah.
They took the lead on 2 minutes with a great bit of skill from Gustav Engvall. Cuts in from the left-hand side, splits 2 defenders, and then curls it into the far right-hand corner.
That was a sexy finish.
It was very pleasing goal. And yeah, but a bit of a surprise, but it's sort of waking the beast, aren't you? It's like Malmo to sort of go, oh, bollocks, we've got to actually turn up now.
Yeah, exactly.
But it took a little while at least. So I think it was minute 35. The grand stature of 63 kilogram Tahir Ali runs through the whole what would it be, the right hand side of Värnamo, and then cuts in, scores a fantastic goal.
It's brilliant.
We mentioned it earlier. I sort of thought about the Bale goal against Barcelona, and Mike talked about something about Alexander Isak and an assist. But yeah, it was a great goal, really, really good run from him. He is really good.
He is. He's special. He's a difference maker.
And I think
he's got that stardust.
Yeah,
I think there's. But there is a bit Lucas Moura about him, isn't there? Like, he's wild good with his feet, and he does the occasional amazing thing. But he is not reliable in the way that maybe you'd want him to be.
Right.
But this week he had a good one.
I think also he thrives in a team like Malmo, who are defensively solid and have playmakers, deep line playmakers in the field. He's not asked to do a lot defensively because I don't know if I've seen him make a tackle this season. But he's just electric. He just makes shit happen.
And the good thing about him as well is he's got. I've looked at his career and he's worked his way up through smaller teams. Then he was at Helsingborg, who got relegated last year, and now he's at Malmo, and he's getting better every time. Yeah, and he keeps getting better. And that you can still, when you watch him play, there are still so many parts of his game where you can see he can get better. He can improve. Yeah, so if he manages to do this, and if he is the right manager, I mean, Rydström could be the right guy. Yeah, to bring him to a whole other level. Then this guy could be like a superstar if he definitely. Unfortunately,
he is also rumoured with moves away, and I hope that doesn't happen because we're losing too many exciting players in Allsvenskan. I just hope the big bucks from Malmo can keep him in town because he is fun.
That rumour makes a lot of sense, though. He is good.
Yeah,
he actually got another goal, his second one on the 75th minute. I don't know how much credit he can take for this, though. So this is going a little way back now, and as a Tottenham fan, obviously I remember it a bit more than other people do. But there was a goal scored by the ex-England and Tottenham goalkeeper Paul Robinson. He took a free kick from his own half, and it bounced over Ben Foster's head in the Watford goal, I believe it was. And it's a little bit similar to that, except it's the Malmo goalkeeper who took the it was just a long ball. He's tried punting through.
It just looked like a clearance, really.
Yeah. So he's just cleared it out, and Rashid in Värnamo's goal has, I don't know what he's done. It might.
It's so ridiculous because
he's run out of his area, and the ball's just bounced over his head.
And his arms go like this.
Right. That's the thing. The worst part isn't the judgment of the ball or the judgment of the bounce. It's what he does once the ball bounces over his head. He looks so confused, and it's such an unnatural movement for a goalkeeper.
I think he's thought about, sod it, I'll just take it with my hands, and then decided, no, I want to play in the next match. So I want a red card, and I think he's stuck in between. But yeah, it's probably the worst. Is it the worst goalkeeping error we've seen so far?
Oh, I don't know.
The Dublin one was pretty bad.
Nordfeldt as well for AOK this week has a claim to that.
Yeah, it was all. Both of those were about being
Gordon. I don't know. They're all. They're all a bit dodge. We need to put some time in the off season to make a full on reel about all the different errors.
So many. You could do a 20-minute YouTube video, but yeah. So it bounces over his head, and Ali, being the quick little player that he is, he just runs in behind and taps it in the back of the net. But yeah, so that was the 75th minute, and normally when Malmö take the lead, they hold the lead. They increased the lead on the 88th minute when Nanasi, he obviously looked back to Gustav Engvall's goal and went, I can do that. It's exactly the same goal. He's on the left-hand side of the pitch. He cuts in between two defenders and curls it into the top right-hand corner.
He's been so good.
I don't think I've seen an example of one match where two goals are that similar.
Yeah,
FA Cup final 2002. I think. Ljungberg and Parla scored almost identical goals.
There you go. That's some
good. When Nicolas Pepe scored 2 identical goals as well.
Oh, the free kicks.
Mate. All right, I think it's different when it's the same. When it's the same player, maybe it's different. But so Nanasi just did the same thing.
Beautiful. So Malmö go marching on.
They're top of the league at the moment, 31 points, 2 points ahead of Elfsborg and Värnamo. Where are they standing at the moment? They've got to be somewhere 12th place.
They're in sort of mid-table mediocrity.
I can't remember what the magic number for Allsvenskan points is to survive relegation. I think it's around the 16-point mark.
That low?
Really?
Well, if you think about the Premier League, 40 points is the safe spot.
Yeah.
So it must be double the amount of teams that are in the league. So no, 30 points must be the spot in Allsvenskan.
I'd say you're looking mid-20s to 30, I'd say,
30 points must be it.
Interesting one.
Do you know what, I can go through the old tables and create an average. If you want.
Sounds good.
Well, speaking of relegation, Mike, you had the pleasure of watching the boys against Halmstad. So the team that are bottom of the league versus the team that have the least shots on target in the league. I guess this was a cracker.
Do you know what? I've forgotten what happened in this game. It was. It finished 2-1 to Halmstad. I can't remember any of it really. Varbre's boys go into this half of the season with 0 wins, rooted to the bottom of the table. Well,
0 wins.
Yeah, not exactly rooted again. 0 wins, but they're only 2 points behind Gothenburg and AIK.
Wow. I thought with 5 points they must have 1 win and 2 draws, but no. Okay,
all draws. Yeah, and all the goals came in the final 10 minutes. Halmstad scored a penalty, I think, through Granit Victor.
Yeah,
Victor Granit.
Victor Granit. Granit Victor. Yes.
Then Varbre levelled things with a minute to spare. 89th minute, Alfonsi, I think it was, and then they scored an own goal a minute later.
That's painful, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's not good.
It's not
so
good.
They were
an
own goal away from being 1 point behind AIK and Gothenburg.
Yeah, exactly. And Halmstad are sitting quite comfortable as a promoted team, came second in Super Ettan. They're doing quite well.
Interesting. It'll be interesting because I think both Halmstad and Bromma Poikina will stay up. It'd be interesting if they have second season syndrome like in the Premier League where newly promoted teams, I think Sheffield United and a few other teams like that, they've come up, they've surprised everyone and then they've just been sent straight back down the next season. But yeah, Halmstad surprisingly solid with 7 shots on target a game. 2-1 to Halmstad. The boys not looking good. Kalmar Doe Rapids, Neil, from the Golden Chicken Arena. How was this?
It was all right. It was a mid-table game, although I suppose Doe Rapids or Degerfors aren't doing that well either, looking at the table now, to be fair. But yeah, so 2-1 to Kalmar, it finishes. Their first 2 goals are quite similar, both left-footed strikes from medium range.
Sneaky ones, good. Right? They're kind of like, they look deceptively shit,
slow,
but they're actually really good.
Yeah, exactly. So Netterbay gets the first one and Hummer gets the second, and that's already minute 14, so you're thinking this is game wrapped up.
Yeah.
Would you say they were like Frank Lampard goals?
Yeah,
they are so many like that.
Yeah, they're sort of his range as well. That's quite good. So that's by minute 14. So you're thinking the game's wrapped up, but Degerfors, they reduced the deficit. Campos, he scored on minute 30. It's a nice little cross into the box and a little chest and volley.
It's a technical goal.
It's good, but it makes me think if you've got time to chest and volley it and the defender's not getting there, the marking must be really shit.
Right. That was it. As a centre back, I'm also thinking like someone just put something on him, like just anything.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Luis Suarez, maybe they're scared about getting bitten. Who knows? Maybe that's why he's scoring so many goals. He's
just
getting
let
into
him
the
score.
box. And everyone's like, fuck that. I'm not going near that motherfucker.
But I think like Kalmar, they play a very safe style of football. Concentrate very highly on their passing percentage and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
How many
great save in this? Did you see that?
I was just about to say, like, there's a good reflex save from Ricardo quite later on. Top draw. How many goals has Campos got now? It feels like he scores the odd one.
He's not in the top 10.
Okay.
So I can't help you right now.
Okay.
Mike only looks at top 10 and nothing else.
Yeah.
Campos, he's got 3 goals and 2 assists in 13 games, but I think they've all come quite recently.
Okay. Anyway, so 2-1 Kalmar. Kalmar are 4th at the moment, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And Degerfors are down in 13th, so they're not actually doing that well. I called it a mid-table clash. That was bullshit, wasn't it? None of them are in mid-table.
It felt like a mid-table clash, though.
Kalmar, when you say the names, you feel mid-table, don't you?
And Kalmar not the most exciting team to watch, especially when Rajovic doesn't turn up.
Exactly.
But yeah, still good, still sneaky good. Yeah. Mike, the most talked about team in the Allsvenskan, AIK, against probably one of the most informed teams in the Allsvenskan, Elfsfort. This one was actually an interesting game. How did it go down?
AIK, seriously. 1 minute in, Nordfeldt, Jesus Christ, what is he doing? He's playing chicken with the edge of his box. He's going for the ball, going away from the ball, going for the ball. He looked like a video game character, you know, when you're trying to get into an area of the map that hasn't been unlocked yet, and you just kind of run against like an invisible wall.
Or on the old GTA games where you went too far out into the sea and you just had to stop.
That's what was happening to him. I don't know. Could have easily come for the ball and just cleared it, but he decides to go back and go for the ball, and then he passes straight to Ockles and Cockles, and they're down 1-0. 1 minute in against the best counter-attacking side in the league.
Right.
It's the worst thing that could have happened.
It's so bad. And I think that Brenstrom said at the end, he was like, you could see he was absolutely gutted. Because as a manager, you're thinking, right, go out there, just keep it tight.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes in, your keeper goes Grand Theft Auto and just absolutely ruins you, honestly.
Yeah. He goes all San Andreas on it. Yeah.
No. Nice.
Branson did try to mix things up a bit with his starting 11 this time. He's trying to really crack the
this
code.
Time, he changes his lineup every 2 minutes.
Every week. But so Vincent Hill came into the side. He was dreadful. Fasahi came back in. He was playing as number 10.
Interesting.
Rather than a striker. It wasn't that effective.
Damn it.
Abdi Hakim Ali came in as a holding mid. His name sounds a lot like former Sky Sports presenter and Celtic and Bayern Munich legend Alan McAnally. Abdi Hakim Ali, Alan McAnally.
I'm so sorry. What the fuck was that?
That's brilliant.
That might be the greatest name comparison I've ever heard in all my years.
Syllabically, it's basically the same thing.
Can you say them both again one more time, please?
Okay, Abdi Hakim Ali, Alan McAnally.
That's genius.
Yeah,
it's very good.
I'm dead.
But yeah, they weren't that bad, AIK. They weren't actually that bad. But if you give Elfsborg a gift like that in the first minute, you're never going to win. To be fair to the AIK fans, a lot of them did turn up and try and create quite a good atmosphere. And then 30 minutes in, Ondrejka scores Elfsborg's second goal, unfortunately for you, Neil, with just a beautiful touch. It was his first touch, like volley, but side foot volley into the corner from a Ockles cross.
Ockles' work for the assist was fantastic. So I'm going to jump in here because I watched the highlights of this game, and I found a really interesting link on YouTube, it was on Elfsborg Play, and they had a video that 18 minutes long that showed clips from the build-up, behind the scenes, like changing room interactions, team talks in the tunnel, and then some, very player-focused moments in the game. It was really, really interesting. First of all, it humanized the players, which was actually really, really cool to see. You often forget that these are people as well. And then my two biggest takeaways from this is, one, Elfsborg have a lot of leaders in this team, and the mentality of the team, they believe that they should be at the top, which is vital. They're not just there to make up the numbers. They genuinely think that they should be there. They believe they should be there, which is cool to see. And number two, they have one of the better versions of Freed from Desire, aka Vardy's on Fire, that I've heard for a while.
Oh, yeah?
And they showed them in the changing room afterwards, pumping up the music.
You're going to sing this, right? Please sing this.
I'm ready. And they were singing, Jeppe's on fire, your defense is terrified. And it was brilliant because Jeppe Ockels, that guy's been on fire recently. He had a goal and an assist in this game. He's tricky. He's fun to watch. And that was a good performance from the change room gang. Yeah.
He's going to step up and fill the Ondrejka void, I feel.
That's the thing.
Because he's really coming into his own last few rounds.
So who do you think is actually going to replace Ondrejka, Mike?
Well, they have some wingers. Like they've got Noah Soderberry, young guy. He might come in and take his place. And they also have Bernardson. Bernardson.
Bernardson. Our favourite Yorkshireman from Sweden.
Yeah, he's injured at the moment, but he'll come back in.
He played at the weekend, though.
He came on a little bit.
Yeah. But hopefully he can start again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to follow Ondrejka's career now.
Yeah,
because I feel like I've watched him develop. I've watched him like. So it's gonna be fun to see what he...
of Allsvenskan, you feel like his daddy already.
Exactly. It's gonna be fun to see him what he does in the Belgian league, and if he gets to move away from there, because he's certainly got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Magashi, he scores a consolation goal for AIK late on, like he did last week again. He's a useful player as a wing back. He really gets up there.
He seems
the same on the right hand side.
He seems like the only one in the AIK team that gives a shit. He is always running hard. He's always trying to make things happen. He's shooting when he can. He's following up loose balls. He's like one-man teaming it at the moment.
Exactly. Well, him and Modesto, I think, the right back and left back are their most attacking players and most innovative and creative players. The Magashi goal comes from a Modesto cross. Which Magashi then Valdemarson spills it.
Yes,
and Magashi
that was
scores.
another error.
But he was actually very good, Valdemarson. He made quite a few good saves in this game. But he made an error as well. But AIK still in the relegation zone. Elfsborg battling for the title.
Yeah, Brännström's interview at the end, which I'd mentioned a little bit, he also said that there are 4 or 5 players who are feeling the pressure and weight of expectations and are not able to carry it. Another case of your manager just chucking you under the bus very clearly in front of everyone. He also said, and this was the weirdest part of the interview, that he had nothing to do with his assistant's sacking, the assistant manager's sacking, which I find to be utterly ridiculous. So if he's telling the truth, I mean... He's either got to take the blame and be like, we decided to part ways, try something different. Or something happened behind the scenes that is like a big bust up and he just got let go before they told Brännström. Or the club have to take a serious look at the way they're running things. Because if you're going to fire the assistant manager and the manager doesn't know about it,
it's warning signs. Absolute mess. I mean, surely you would have to talk to the manager about the situation. Because if the assistant manager is like... they would have to have a really close working relationship. And then the next day he's gone. You don't know why. That's mad. It's mad. It's
mad.
But Victor Fischer as well, talking about AIK, looking like he wants to cancel his loan.
I mean, that's a good thing because he's been absolute pony and has not really helped the dressing room either. So get his wages off the bill and bring in someone
his ego out the door as well.
Right, bring in someone who can actually run.
Yeah. It's good for both parties, isn't it? That
for sure.
Because Fischer probably deserves better in some ways, and Eichel deserves better in others. So
he just doesn't fit the system. And again, that's back to the AIK, the way their team's been run. It's been catastrophic this season.
Well, hopefully their fans can buy them a new player.
It's the equivalent of like being out with your parents and be like, "So, Mum, can you buy me some Pokemon cards?" It's disgraceful. But anyway, a team that is very well run. BK Bush met the not so mighty Dandruff Village in a cup final repeat. Mike's, I won't, rub it in, Mike, but your shout was pretty strong, and I applaud you for ballsy shouts.
See, I didn't know we were supposed to bet our houses on this because I thought these were like long shot bets, and then it became bet your house on it, all your savings on it.
But to be fair, Mike, you're in the safest position out of all of us to be betting houses, aren't you? So I don't think you should be complaining.
Oh dear.
Renta pour live.
Yeah. But BK Bush had a massive lineup shake-up in midfield. They swapped Gustafsson for Gustafsson. It didn't really make a difference. Both Gustafssons are quality. And then they had a front three aged 17, 18, and 20. Unreal. Sonko's been moved from the left to the left of the front three, which is much better. He's been much better in the last few weeks because he can cut in. And then now they have Darbo on the right, and he's left-footed, so he can cut in as well. So they've got inverted wingers, Traore running everywhere, and midfield's able to pick out passes. So it's a really exciting team to watch. Darbo, like I said, he replaced Large, son of Large, who has left the club, unfortunately. Large, son of Large.
Strange transfer.
Very strange. You would think with European football coming, Large, son of Large would actually just stay and see things out in a very good BK Häcken team. But he didn't, and now Pontus Darbo gets the chance to shine, and he had an absolute breakout performance. I think he's composed on the ball, he's shifty, he doesn't give the ball away much, he's got a little bit of acceleration about him to get out of tight spaces. And then there's a YouTube channel called The Scandinavian Scout who put together a nice little compilation of this game, focusing on Darbo and all his little involvements, and they got some good stuff on there, really interesting to check it out. And he looks a player, and he's 17. And he looks like, one of those FIFA regens with the blonde flowing locks and the headband. And he looks like your stereotypical Scandinavian football player. I think if you asked John from Bolton to draw a picture of a Swedish player, he would draw Pontus Darbo as Darbo. And that'd be as close as you're going to get.
Can we just regen?
Yeah, exactly.
Can we just refer to him as Brother Harry from now on? Because that's just brilliant.
Brother Harry?
That's his full name, Pontus Braw Harry Darbo.
Whoa. Wow.
So, Brother Harry from now on.
Wait, hold
Brother
on. His
Harry.
name is what? Pontus?
Pontus Braw Harry Darbo.
Okay, Brother Harry.
So,
Brother Harry.
Pontus Brother Harry Darbo. So I think we should name him after the ashamed Prince Harry.
Oh,
Brother Harry.
We got young King Charles for EK.
Yeah, exactly.
Serious.
Half the royal family in this league. All right, Brother Harry. I like it. Let's roll with it. But Benny Traore scored the easiest goal he'll score all year.
I feel like I've said that 6 times already. He's always scoring easy goals.
This is what I mean. This is what I said the other week about his XG and stuff. Like it's, but this is, he just gets the ball blasted into his chest and it goes in. 12 goals in 13 games. I mean, buy a lottery ticket, Benny, because you are getting lucky. That's for sure.
We'll start betting on him to score everyone else because you'll also
exactly.
make some money.
But Darbo shone and got an assist. Great work down the left, and then he found the mighty Hovland, aka my centre back. The guy carrying my fantasy football team. And then not so long after that, it was 3-0. And it was an 18-year-old to a 17-year-old. It was Sonko bursting down the left, crossing to Darbo, and he just had a nice, easy tap in. It could have got out of hand at this point. Hovland had a goal denied, a second goal denied, which really hurt because that would have moved me ahead of Mike in the fantasy football standings, but it got disallowed, so I'm still nipping at your heels there, Mike.
Yeah, you're like 4 points behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's getting tense.
It's getting tight. It's getting tight. But yeah, 18 shots, 72% possession. Absolutely played them off the park. Mjällby looked hopeless, and the the difference between the top teams and the bottom teams is quite large in this league. But I do believe Mike's soft spot for Mjällby is affecting his judgment a little bit. So, Mike, you're going to have to use the break to try and, shake off the Mjällby love.
Yeah. Do you know what I think it is, right? I was watching the cup games before the season.
Yeah.
And this is what informed my Mjällby guess.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I might have got them confused with Elfsborg. But
oh my God, that's so true.
I haven't mentioned it yet. But...
Oh my God. Because if you literally swap Mjällby for Elfsborg, your shouts are...
They play in the same kit.
They play in the same kit?
Yeah. And it's not a normal kit either.
No.
There's not many bumblebees around. Yeah.
Scribbled all over it. Oh, wow. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, 3-0 to BK Bush. Business as usual. Animal Park, Norrköping, Mike. What went down in Animal Park?
Yes. So my beloved Animal Park. This was the last game of the first half of the season, I guess. And it was actually quite a good game. Norrköping started this really well. But before we get into it, did anybody see Norrköping's kit?
Oh my God, I'm so glad you brought this up. That is my only note I have on this game is that is the worst kit in the league. And I know Neil is going to shock us all by saying he actually likes it, but is my first reaction.
I mean, they look like a second-rate Spanish cycling team.
Right. Apparently it's inspired by a tram.
What?
I'm frantically trying to find a picture of this kit. I haven't seen any of this match.
Yeah, you have, because you compared this kit to a Tottenham kit, and you said you quite liked it.
Oh, the yellow! Is it the yellow and blue one?
Yellow and green or something.
Black green. That's just it's their third kit, not their second. Their second's blue, so they would have clashed with
but now I remember now. But yeah, this reminds me of a Tottenham kit that they had when David Ginola was playing for the club. So it's quite a nice era for me, even though Tottenham weren't very good at that time.
At least you had somebody with great hair playing.
At least you actually played football that entertained people.
This is true.
Yeah,
that's true. Worst kit in the league, hands down.
Last 5 years, you can't say that about Tottenham. So
hold on a second. Is that an hour into the podcast before the first Tottenham reference?
No, I've mentioned them like 4 times already. We've got Paul Robinson.
Bale.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Right, good. Yeah. Scrap that.
How can you say that's the worst kit in the league? It looks a bit Australia-like, but...
No, it's so bad.
Australian Rugby League, like, 4th place team.
Yeah. I like it. I do like it.
I knew you would.
Of course you would.
Oh, disgraceful. Anyway, back to the game.
So Norrköping, they go 2-0 up. Lund and Lind put them 2 up. The first one is sort of bundled in at the back post. The second, however, is pure Allsvenskan.
Yeah.
Mizrahi tries to play a ball in behind Lofgren, who intercepts it, but then kind of runs towards the ball and points at the ball. So he's not really taking responsibility. He's just kind of pointing at the ball.
Yeah.
Presumably asking Danielson to take over and clear it. But old horse girl in goal decides to... get on his purebred Arabian man, gallop out of the box. To his credit, he does produce quite a decent slide tackle.
Yeah, but then can't teleport back into the goal in time.
No, and then the ball ends up at the feet of Victor Lind, who curls it in and over and around and into the back of the net. However, a lot of the stick for this goal has been given to Jakob Vidal Zetterström, the goalkeeper. Yeah. But no. I think it's mostly the blame lies on Lofgren here.
And
he didn't take responsibility. Yeah, both of them. They didn't take responsibility.
There's no danger. And Danielson's the club captain. You're running back. You see your keeper charging out. You see you've got nobody around you. You say, "This is mine. Back the fuck up. Like I've got this."
And do you see Lofgren? He's standing on the penalty spot. He's dropped back to stand on the penalty spot. He hasn't gone to the line. Yeah. And as a defender, Andy, we're both defenders.
I wouldn't have made it back to the line, Mike. I would have made it to the edge of the box, probably.
Just keeled over. But your instinct is to get back to the line and block the line. Because the ball just kind of goes in. It doesn't... if he was on the line, he would have stopped this.
Yeah, but it was a sensational finish. Like, the speed he took it, and like he took it first time, curled it around a bunch of players. It was great. It was a good finish.
It was brilliant, but it shouldn't have happened. Lofgren should have dropped. 3 steps further back, he would have stopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a few minutes later, Daniel Gudjonsson, the middle brother of the Gudjonsson legacy. I would like to see a remake of Succession, but it's just the Gudjonsson sons seeing who's going to succeed. Old Ida.
Who's going to take their father's throne, yeah.
Yeah. But, he was dreadful. He was shocking.
No.
He scores an own goal here from set piece, like a header, but he flicks it over his whole team, goes in the back of the net. His stats for this game, 87 minutes. He completed 38% of his passes. 50% of his dribbles and 33% of his aerial duels, and he's 1.90 m.
Oh,
not good.
Not good.
Yeah. And then after half time, Dregger Danielsson scores another header from a corner.
Fucking Danielsson,
great corner from Berry.
Fucking Danielsson. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. I need to meet this guy and just actually, have a few good words with him. So that I don't know why I've got some kind of. I think it's from Sweden, like we said, it's from when he was playing for Sweden and got sent off and ruined everything for Sweden.
Yeah.
I think I've just got this weird sort of animosity against him. He keeps scoring.
He's their joint top scorer now for Djurgården this season. He's mad. He's along with defensive midfielder Findell. They both got 3. And he's also he's second in their assists. He's got 2 assists.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's wild.
I'm quite impressed that you've called him Fellainius, Mike, because you spent the whole of last week calling him Fellainius, or whatever you called him.
I mean, this is what he did in this game. He came on, he was in some great positions, didn't score. He could have scored about 3 goals. I think he hit one, it was a good save.
Yeah.
Another one went wide and another one went over, I think. He had some really good chances.
I agree. The Pixar Prince, like he came on and shook things up a little bit. At least he made things happen. Hannibal Park had about 20 chances at the end, but his shot from inside the box that was saved by Jensen, that was prime Peter Schmeichel, unbelievable save at the near post.
Great save, yeah, definitely. And then Mizrahi had a really good chance as well for Norrköping to win it quite late on as well. He hit the post. I think, or, yeah. So I mean, it was an entertaining game, 2-2.
2-2. And we still don't really know who Djurgården are.
By those stats of Danielsson and Findell being their top scorers, they're crying out for someone who can score goals.
Right, I know.
Just before we move on from this game, though, I want to go back to the kit situation.
I knew you'd get hung up on this. I knew.
Just while you two have been babbling away, because I literally haven't seen any of these. I thought, it'd be quite funny if I turned up in a Norrköping kit next few, particularly the yellow and green one that you were talking about. Any guesses on what it costs to buy a Allsvenskan kit these days?
No.
They want 900. They want 1,000 krona for a kit.
Wow.
So at the beginning of the season, one of their players didn't have their name on the back of the shirt. And then Andy said to me, it'd be really great if you bought a shirt for him and sent it to him. And then I was like, that's a great shout. And then I looked it up. Okay, the shirt already is expensive. And then you have to put the name on it. And then you're remortgaging your apartment because you need to buy a shirt.
Absolutely nuts.
It's awful. Don't do it, Neil. Don't do it.
I won't be doing it. Yeah. But maybe our listeners can send us in what they think is the worst kit in the Allsvenskan this year.
Yeah,
because we've talked about it a few times. It's an interesting debate. Is it Degerfors that just have an awful lot of advertisement on their kit?
It's half the league. Every team apart from Gothenburg and AIK.
Who's got McDonald's?
That's Degerfors, and I cannot watch another match of theirs. Please. I don't know what it is. Something takes over me, and I order a McDonald's.
Anyway, sorry.
Animal Park go into the half-term break with a 1 point against Norrköping. Both teams are. I don't really know who either team is. They look good one week, bad the next week. So a draw is probably a very fair result. Now, one of the interesting things from this game that I forgot to mention was obviously Bergvall is getting a lot of game time for Djurgården, and he was, in my opinion, at fault in a week at the back post for the first goal. He looks.
There is a shout that he did get fouled.
There's a shout that he get fouled, but he's also going to be stronger.
Yeah.
But let's dampen the expectations for this kid, and that's what I was thinking watching this game. I was like, all right, the hype train well and truly left the station because he had some great dribbling in his first match. But then Radetinac had a very interesting interview. I don't know if you guys saw this.
No, it didn't.
And he said he was asked about big talents, and he said, I've trained a bit with Lucas, and he's one of them, as in one of the biggest talents. But if he's going to be the biggest talent, then he needs more time. I have so that already is quite damning. That let's ease up on this kid. He's 18, and he's going to need more time. And then he went on to say, I have to say that Simon Tiebling was on a whole different level when I came. He knew how to move the pitch, how he was on the ball. It was a whole different world. So he's basically saying that Bergvall is nowhere near Simon Tiebling was at this stage of his development. Now, Simon Tiebling is playing in Norway for Sharpsborg 08 and hasn't got 2 caps for Sweden and done absolutely nothing in Europe. So let's really tune down those Bergvall expectations. I know people develop
Man United
different
are
phases.
looking at him, and I think Eurogordon put a 20 million euro price tag on him.
Yeah,
I was just about to say the shareholders at Eurogordon are going to be quite disappointed with that statement because you are really dragging the price down.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of those things where you think, okay, obviously this guy sees him in training every day. Now, some people are just not good trainers. Some people are better on match day, but you're wondering, is Radetinac sending him a message like, kid, you need to step up, or is he actually genuinely just saying he's not as good as people think he is? So, we'll see. Any Eurogordon fans, I'd be super happy. Sorry, hold on. Let me rephrase that. Any Eurogordon fans that haven't started supporting the club in the last 2 weeks, aka Mike, if you guys actually have an opinion on Bergvall, I'd love to hear it. So don't be shy to get in touch with us. Yes, moving on. We have a little bit of a special end to the show in terms of our 100% guaranteed bet your apartment on it bets of the week, which obviously were sensationally bad last week. But we're going to look at transfer bets. So who do we think is going to get a move and to where? And Mike, as you have the least amount of property to your name, why don't you kick us off with your bet of the week?
That's strange. I am on average about 11 years younger than both of you. So yeah, but anyway, my transfer bet, or the thing that I would like to see happen and I think should happen, and that I would be willing to put some money on, is Jamie Roche getting a move to a top 4 Allsvenskan side.
Oh, it would be good because he is silky. He's silky. I really like him, and he's
so good.
He's such a good player. He makes everything look simple. Okay, if you were going to put a name on what club should sign him, what would you say?
I would say that AIK should definitely sign him.
You said top 4, though.
Yeah, I mean, historically. But yeah, AIK should definitely sign. I reckon he would fit into Ellsbury's side very easily. He would fit into Eurogordon.
Could he replace Hugo Larsson at Malmo, or is he too deep? Is he too much like Pena, maybe?
Yeah, he's more of a breaker up of play, and like Hugo Larsson does go a bit further forwards, and Jamie Roche can also play centre back. So I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say Malmo, but I would say any other team in Allsvenskan he would walk into.
I'd
their
like to
lineup.
see him play for a bigger club at the same time as I kind of want to watch the Brighton journey of Are You Serious, and hopefully they can keep some of the good players and carry on. But yeah, good shout. Neil, who's yours?
I think Malmo, as much as they are a good team and probably going to win the league, might be in trouble because a lot of their players are looking very attractive to other teams, the way they're banging in the goals and so on. So I've actually gone for Nanasi, and I could see him getting a transfer to an upper mid-table German club because I could see him doing like a Gegenpress sort of situation and really fast attacking, a little bit skillful. So I could see that. So I'd go for like a Wolfsburg or a Leverkusen.
Leverkusen would be a great shout.
Or an Eintracht Frankfurt, sort of a team for Nanasi.
Yeah, that'd be interesting because obviously, what's his name? The Leverkusen wingers linked with every big club. Diaby, thank you. So yeah, interesting. Not a bad shout. Well, my bet of the week is that Pontus Jansson will go to Malmö. Wait,
that's been confirmed.
That's cheating.
Confirmed already.
I'm kidding. I just wanted to win something. But my bet is Oscar Pedersen, Bromma Poikina's little pocket rocket, that he gets moved to Elsford and plays on the right.
Replaces Ondrejka a little bit.
Yeah, replaces Ondrejka at Elsford. And I would like to see him and Ockles with Johnson through the middle. And I think Pedersen's movement and sort of
very direct.
He will fit into their counter-attacking style. So Oscar Pedersen to Elsford.
But do you think Elfsborg are that much financially better off than Bromma Poikina?
Yes.
To be able to do that?
I think every team is.
I don't know, because Bromma Poikina have the youth set up to fund them, don't they?
Yeah, but it's almost two different entities. I think their transfer budget is, I think, the second lowest in the league.
Okay.
I could be talking absolute rubbish now, and that wouldn't surprise me. But I don't. I think Elfsborg would be a much bigger club for them for sure.
I understand it's attractive for the player, but I just wonder if it's if they're financially able to do. I suppose they got some money in from Ondrejka now.
Exactly.
So.
They've just got a windfall. So
they've got quite a decent sized stadium.
Yeah,
they always sell out as well. So
okay. Sounds viable.
So let's see. It'd be interesting. Let's follow those weeks. Now, obviously, this is a bit of a strange ending to an episode because now we have a weird 3-week break, or 2.5 weeks because we've been so late in getting this episode out. But the break is going to happen, and we will be having. Rephrase that. And we will have the opportunity to look back on what has been a fantastic first 6 months in Allsvenskan. So we'll be doing a special episode next week, which will be a mid-season review. And we're going to be dishing out some awards and talking a lot of shit and having a good time. So please join us for that. I hope you guys have a nice few days over a beautiful sunny weekend in Stockholm. And thank you very much from us. Goodbye from me.
Hej då.
Laters.